The allegations are shocking.
He was forced to get on all fours, Your Honor. His pants were removed from him, and a broomstick was placed up his anus.
Prosecutors say that's what happened to a Somerville high school freshman during a retreat for the school's soccer and football teams. Now, 3 juniors are facing multiple rape charges, including 17-year-old Galileo Mondol, who was arraigned yesterday as an adult. Prosecutors accuse the juniors of targeting the victim.
We're going to pick someone, it's you, no, it's you, no, it's you, pointing to various freshmen that were in the cabin.
Mondol has pled not guilty, and his attorney insists he was just at the wrong place at the wrong time.
The victim says my client had nothing to do with it. The co-defendant said my client had nothing to do with it. And yet here we are holding a 17-year-old boy for a few more days in jail and requiring his parents to post a $100,000 bond.
Sandy Sentner, whose child was also at the camp, says what happened has stunned her and other parents.
It's disgusting. It's horrific. It really is. It's heartbreaking. I feel for these parents. You know, no parent, no child should have to ever go through something like that.
Mondol's 2 co-defendants are 16 and will be arraigned in juvenile court. Mondol is being kept in jail pending a dangerousness hearing that's scheduled for Friday. And joining me now is Somerville Mayor Joseph Curtatone, who was a volunteer at Camp Lennox when the alleged assault occurred. Welcome, Mayor.
Emily, how are you?
So, to take us through it, how did it unfold? Do you go there every year, or something?
We have gone away with the football team for the last 15 years. I think I've been to 12 of those, and for the last 5 at this location, along with the boys' soccer team, and in the last 4 the girls' soccer team. So it's expanded to a multi-sport.
Were your kids there too?
No, my children aren't in high school.
Okay.
It's for high school students.
Too young. So what happened that day?
Well, I'd actually returned home Sunday night, Monday afternoon. All the teams came back, and on Tuesday afternoon, the soccer coaches were made aware of this alleged incident, and they immediately reported it to the superintendent and myself, and the school officials, having looked at it, deemed it credible, immediately reported, and we called the Somerville police and then law enforcement authorities, and the investigation unfolded. And from, as you heard the prosecutor, in this case, lay out very detailed and horrifying facts as to what allegedly occurred, apparently on Sunday afternoon, or Sunday during the day at the camp. And we're still trying to wrap our minds about how and why it could occur, even occurred.
Judge actually cut her off, said
Yes.
she'd heard enough.
Yes.
We can only speculate, but I suspect you have maybe a little bit more information. What was going on here? Was it some kind of a hazing ritual? Was it more than that? Did it escalate to a sexual assault? What was happening?
Well, one, I can't speak to specific facts because it is under investigation. This case is moving forward with the Berkshire County District Attorney's Office. But these are the questions we all have, and we are struggling to understand the how and why. And because it's horrific, it's appalling, it's sad all around. Now, we do not want to minimize the impacts of hazing, which can involve very harmful, abusive, and sexually invasive conduct. But this goes beyond hazing. There was no rite of passage here. This is rape. This alleged incident is rape. And the district attorney was careful to emphasize and told us to emphasize this is a single, isolated, alleged incident. Deliberate conduct allegedly conducted by these 3 high school students. And it is baffling and sad, but it goes beyond any rite of passage, which hazing typically is. And we do so much work with our students. This behavior, alleged behavior, is not typical of what happens with Somerville high school students because we've done so much to educate students around bullying, hazing, aggressive behavior, any sexual aggression, how to report it, identify it. So, which is really confusing, which is why this alleged incident has confused us and shocked us all.
Yeah, because, of course, everybody's become so much more aware, and you think even a 17 and you're a 16-year-old, they have reached the age of reason. Right. And for them to reasonably proceed is hard to get your head around.
And the hope, I mean, we hope to learn more as this case unfolds as to what may have motivated any one or all the alleged perpetrators.
I saw where Somerville is going to consider new team travel policies, but How can you anticipate something like this? Isn't this a one-off, a one-of-a-kind incident? I mean, what can you do to the travel policy would change?
Yeah, we're going to institute, and I think we're obliged to look at everything we've done in the past. Now, I'll tell you, in the last 15 years of the football going, we've had no reported incidents. In the last 5 years, up until now, the boys' soccer team, and never the girls' soccer team. But this changes everything, and we're obliged to have a responsibility to look at all our protocols. We had 19 adults or chaperones and coaches and a trainer there, and that's about one for every 8 students, and I can talk over and over about that, but it makes no difference. And I don't know if 10 more or 20 more chaperones would make a difference. I think you hit it on the nail on the head. What may have possessed anyone to do these alleged acts? And what signs do we have to look out for? There's a greater conversation to have. And while we will look at what the protocol should be going over, we still also think that the good of all the students should not be punished by the deliberate acts of the few. But what's important for us right now is to support the victims, the witnesses, the families, give them our compassion, support, and to heal as a school and greater community.
Is this something that other school districts do as well? They travel their sports teams to other locations for, a group?
It's common, and it's not just sports teams. We have clubs that go to overnight trips, and part of, again, we're obliged to look at all our overnight or away activities, and this conduct, as horrific as it can be, it wasn't caused because we went to an away facility. I mean, it can happen right here, and I think we can't lose sight of that fact in this conversation as we move forward to understand more of the how and the why, and we want to heal. We have to have a greater conversation of what happens in our culture that may possess or motivate people to conduct violent acts against one another.
It was also the middle of the day, so it had nothing to do with the fact that it was an overnight facility.
Right. I mean, there is, I would argue, a tremendous amount of supervision. And if you've heard many of the reactionary comments by former students and athletes in the media, some have expressed shock that with so much structure, which there is a lot of structure, could occur, but that's really what's important. I mean, this allegedly occurred, so it changes the game. We have to have that conversation.
Is this an offense in your mind that's punishable by up to 10 years in jail? Because that's what this kid faces.
I feel personally a lot of shock and betrayal and anger. I also feel sadness for those kids, too. Most importantly, the victims in this case, but to think that a young person would make this decision may change their lives forever. But our greatest concern is with the victims and the witnesses and the families. And I have full faith in District Attorney David Capeless. He has moved diligently, swiftly, but fairly in the application of charges. I have no doubt in terms of what happens in disposition of this case, he'll do the same.
All right. Somerville Mayor Joseph Creditone.
Thank you for having me.